Hi, this is Tony Jaccaci, head of school at Cincinnati Country Day School, and I welcome you to the State of the School Address 2021, Part 2. Today we're talking about personal growth in the time of COVID. This year has been the most unusual year, and a hallmark of a Country Day education is whole child growth. We've had to do it in very different and new ways this year. But perhaps most surprising and most rewarding is that it has been very successful. And we've learned a lot. And in fact, in some ways, student experiences have been improved. And so when we begin school next year, when we return to normal, it will not be a return to status quo, but rather there will be ways in which the experience of students have been strengthened and even improved. So today we're going to show you some of the ways that our students are having wonderful experiences despite going to school during this pandemic. Cincinnati Country Day School, State of the School 2021, Part 2. Here we go.
While we maintain our commitment to academic excellence, unexpected challenges have provided the opportunity to implement new personal growth programs. We've adjusted in so many ways, aware that maintaining our close connection to our students is vital to their growth, because who they become is just as important as what they learn. Our lower school students start with a recognition of social-emotional learning. Mark Morawski, the head of our lower school, discusses how the right mindset opens receptors that create a love of learning.
Emotion drives cognition. Those things, some of the most tragic things we remember the most. Some of the most beautiful things we remember the most. So we want to create these beautiful opportunities at school that we remember, and then that drives the academics. And so it's social emotional learning, whether we teach it through growth mindset, social emotional learning being taught through our character virtues. These are the skills that we want kids to carry on, that we know they're going to be successful as a student academically, they're going to be successful as an employee, they're going to be successful within a family unit, they're going to be successful as a human being.
What I like most about the growth mindset is that it's always about being positive and then thinking up and not down.
We're also attuned to introducing our lower school students to responsibility and leadership.
There's a slew of jobs that teachers create, one for every kid. They rotate on a consistent basis, and then that builds agency from a very young child. That's their job and that's their responsibility, and the kids take it very seriously. So that's one thing we do to build leadership from a very young age.
One of the other ways we build leadership is by involving our students and allowing them to express themselves and take a leadership position in the selection of the school's new mascot.
My favorite part about working on the mascot committee is being a leader and helping everybody.
What I also like is being on the mascot committee. I think it takes a lot of responsibility because we might be picking the mascot for the next hundreds of years.
As our students move through the grades, we continue to reinforce responsibility and social and emotional learning by providing more time for teacher-to-student and student-to-student interaction, more independent study and opportunities for personal growth, encouraging our students to hone their non-cognitive skills such as organization, creativity, independence, and time management.
Just the idea of self-awareness. Doing things that are working with decision-making, problem solving. It's a lot of the non-cognitives that you always hear me talk about that are so important for the middle school students.
I like the changes this year at Country Day because we just have more time in general, more time to work, more time to study, more time for in-depth learning, and even the longer periods between classes, we have more times with classmates to kind of interact or get caught up on things that we missed.
Many of the changes implemented this year have helped create a more conducive learning environment, like adding electives, more time to complete homework while in school, and allowing our middle school students designated time for reading what they choose.
But independent reading serves a couple purposes. The first one, it's very much slows everything down. And with everything being so rushed in our students' lives, it just allows them to slow down, read something that they enjoy, some great graphic novels that are out there. It could be comic strips, slowing everything down. And the other piece, it serves almost like meditation, and fits really well with our social and emotional theme.
What I like most about this year is the extra time, like with independent reading, which is where for 45 minutes on Fridays we get to bring our own book that we like to read, and we read it for 45 minutes. The teachers don't tell us what book to read, and it's kind of fun because you get to explore what you like instead of having to read a book for a specific class. And I also like the more time we have for things like electives and clubs.
As students move into the upper school, grades 9 through 12, they've established their love of learning and refined independent study habits, which in turn allows them to more intensely identify their interests and channel their leadership pursuits.
Our students are in a unique position to embrace different kinds of leadership because there isn't one model of a successful Country Day student. And so we're not producing the same product over and over again. We're trying to look at each child and figure out what they do best, and then trying to encourage that child to follow that path. And so different opportunities for leadership allow students to lean into their own strengths and to develop those with the guidance of their classmates, their teachers, their advisors, and to identify things out in the world that appeal to them and kind of speak to who they are.
Bajin, a junior, identified the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Council as his interest where he could make a difference.
So the EDI really wants to connect the community and really bring to light, issues that minorities and, everybody can face, and how it's not always easy to talk about. We really want to start conversations within the community, and I think I'm really grateful that Country Day has given us this platform to use and allow voices of minorities to speak up.
To help students understand both the physical and mental health challenges the pandemic may present, Margaret co-founded our Student Health Advisory Council.
The Student Health Advisory Council was started at the beginning of this year. Me and a classmate began it because we wanted to see the students being involved, getting student input on different COVID policies. And there's really two sides of it. So one is the health side, and then one is the advocacy side. So even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, we have a bunch of rules and stuff, we want students to have a really good year. So we wanted to help with that.
Most importantly, Country Day aims to help students develop communication skills, build self-esteem, and put our students in a position to be successful once they move on to future endeavors.
Country has given me the skills to have really productive conversations with adults and authoritative figures, my teachers, my boss at the restaurant I work with, coaches, and when I'm doing interviews for job internships. And I feel like the close-knit family that we have at Country Day has really given me the confidence to express myself.
More than just a school, Cincinnati Country Day is a safe place where students, teachers, and administrators alike come together to create a community, a family, and home away from home.
These elements of community, the idea of coming together, what it means to see the dedication of the teachers across all divisions to the incredible burden that's been placed on them this year, and teachers all over the country for that matter, but certainly teachers at Country Day are not exempt from that, and their willingness to do whatever it takes to be able to be here for the students and support them. And every once in a while when a classroom has been quarantined, to see the teachers so anxious to get back to be able to be with their classes, and the students as well.
And so a moment ago, we heard about social and emotional learning. We heard about the gift of time, and we learned about leadership and ways that we're improving the experience for Country Day students this year. And speaking of leadership, the community knows that I will be moving on next year, but we have a wonderful interim head of school, Rob Zimmerman. And so I thought it might be great for you to meet Rob just for a few moments.
So yes, I am taking on a new role in July. I'll be the interim head of school. Tony's wrapping up 6 years of really great leadership here at Country Day. And I'm excited about that because there's a lot of momentum to build on as we approach our centennial in 2026. I also feel obligated and lucky to be able to serve the school that has served me so well. And in so doing, I'm really just carrying on a tradition at this school. You know, when you look at Country Day history, you can go all the way back and find alums serving this school. The class of '39 had Bill Hopple and Chuck Yeiser, two men who built this school into what it is and held just about every leadership role there is. Class of '67 had Dick Schwab, who ran the middle school so well for so long. Class of '87 had Jody Brand, our current board chair, who's going to stay around for another year to help with the transition. So I feel really blessed to be able to continue that tradition of trying to live up to the expectations of our motto, Virtutis Laus in Actione, right? Virtue in action. And we tell our kids that every day, and I'm hopeful that I can live up to that motto by serving this school and continuing the great momentum we've built under Tony.